I was watching some reruns of Patrice O'Neal, the comedian who passed away, and he brought up a great point. And he said, why do we use the word brutally honest? We use the word brutally with honest, and honest is a positive thing, and brutal is like a negative thing. I'm gonna put the etymology with this video, but it's interesting. We should, if anything, you should be brutally liar, brutal liar. You know what I mean? So I was just thinking about that because a lot of people say they want the truth until they come across people like myself who you would consider a brutally honest person, I guess. So it's like I see a lot of people posting of they want people that are truthful, especially they want a mate that's truthful. Then when they get a person that's truthful, they don't know how to take it because they've been lied to all their lives. It's like you've been doing bullshit all your life, or you've been an asshole all your life, and then when someone tells you about yourself, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And you don't necessarily have to be like a asshole per se. Like, you don't have to be a mean person, but just like if someone just comes across, like, say you just are not a good cleaner, like you think you've been, you get around the edges, or you think your cleaning is great, or you think your odor, you don't think you smell because you're used to your smell, or you're used to the way you clean, but your cleaning is not up to par. Someone might come across and be like, how do you think that's clean, or how do you think that smells good? You know what I mean? Something like that. Like, I'm just using something simple that doesn't even have to be big, but those type of things. Like, if you meet people that just come across, like, we're not open to positive criticism, I guess. Is not positive, but we want the truth. We say we want the truth, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just talking to people who say they want the truth, but when someone come across to them and tries to tell them something different, they
gotta pay attention to all those people who focus on how you deliver the truth, so they could kind of ignore what you said. They'd be like, it's just the way you said it. I don't like the way it makes me feel.
Okay.
Did you get the message though?
Like the yin and yang symbol, right? If men are logic and rationale, they should always have a splash of emotion, right? So that little bit of emotion to go along with the majority of the logic and reason, it works in a sense to keep men from being cruel, because logic and reason can be very rough and very rigid. That's why a lot of y'all don't like my page, because I'm very masculine in my deliverance of information. I don't got no time for how you feel. And perhaps when I do decide to take a female serious, that's when she comes in with the piece that's missing from my puzzle, and I give her what's missing from hers. So what do I mean by that? I mean that women are majority emotions, and they should have a splash of reason and logic, because it keeps them sane. In the same way a splash of emotion keeps a man from being cruel. Mercy and judgment.
How humble are you? How humble are you? I feel like that's the question we all need to look in the mirror and ask ourselves. How humble are we? If you look at the most wise people, they're usually the most humble. And why is that? It's because they learn from their mistakes. They learn from the criticism that they receive. If we are a people that just believe that we got everything figured out, then how can you grow? Where is the resistance? Like when you're lifting weights, that dumbbell is the resistance, and when you fight through resistance, that's how you get stronger. But if you never fight through anything, you're going to remain weak. Your muscles are going to get weaker because you never put yourself in the position to fight and grow from that fight. You know what I'm saying?
Most dangerous person you can have in your life is an innocent person. What I mean is they act like they ain't never did nothing wrong. They act like they don't do nothing wrong now. And when you act like that, then I know I can't hold you accountable, because you don't hold yourself accountable. Because if you ain't having that private conversation with yourself about when you wrong, and you ain't able to share no kind of bits and pieces of that with nobody else, man, please stop playing with me, man. I know you don't hold yourself accountable because you're running from that. You're going to do it to me, too. I ain't going to hold you accountable for nothing. And so you're going to be running around telling that story, crying other people, telling people how wrong I did you. Because, we don't run and tell. Strong people, we don't run around and tell and talk on other people. But those weak people, they like to play like they're victims. They love doing that. They be a bad PR. And then you think, like, well, how is you always the victim? You ain't never do nothing wrong? You ain't never contribute to your own downfall? Oh, I should realize that you actually is the source of all the downfall. You the source of all the problems. You the source of this negativity you're going through, and you won't even take responsibility for it. try to figure out somebody's behavior and you couldn't decide whether they was oblivious or just straight up dirty. You know how people do wrong, right? But then when you catch them in the wrong, they always act like, oh man, I ain't know. Well, after a while, you got to decide, well, you know, even if you're going to play oblivious, we're going to slide you over to the dirty side because you're unscrupulous. What that means is you don't have your scruples. You know what I mean? You ain't got good sense. So we can't trust you to know right from wrong in the future either, right? Like, you're untrustworthy. So if you're going to keep on playing oblivious as a friend, as a business partner, whatever, right? You got to realize eventually somebody going to just treat you like you're unscrupulous. And they ain't going to tell you when they cut you off or do whatever they're going to do to unscrupulous people. But, yeah, that's what you're going through, man. So don't play dumb forever is all I'm saying. It don't make sense. And everybody know they got a friend to do this, but be careful when you do that with anybody else. You know, that's all.